Okay, this is outside the roundhouse. You see the road's been closed off. Causing traffic chaos.
Not UKIP, it's BNP.
No, well, it was BNP, now UKIP. Yeah. UKIP leader. It's going to be interesting to see if we get any of the far right TV channels down here. Talk TV, GB News.
Yeah.
It's a big turnout, isn't it? Are you a local, are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm a local, yeah.
Yeah, what do you make of it?
Well, it's just a symptom of bad.
But are you worried about the scale of it now? It's starting to get quite big, isn't it? I mean, last night they were up at the Britannia, there was only about 50. This is much bigger.
Well, yeah, I would say that illegal immigration needs to be stopped, so.
Classical hit.
No, I've been to like the pavilion to see them and stuff.
Yeah, you see them, it's outdoors, it's where the rugby union plays.
It's classic hits, did you say?
Well, last night was classical hit, it was fantastic. Finishing with Enigma.
Classic music, recreation of modern music is just normal.
Every so often, as much as we possibly can. So also, we have Southampton Patriots here. We also have Portsmouth Patriots. We also have people from Aldershot. And we have people from all over the south coast and of course Bournemouth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass it over to Nick, because I'm not a great public speaker, but Nick is much better at it. There we go. Whenever I come down to these sorts of occasions, the Palestinian flag, the communist flag, and the anarchist flag, that is called the Unholy Alliance. Put all their differences aside and kill each other later to get to their end goal. The right have to start understanding this is what we're up against. These are the people who are going to be voting for Labour, and now Zoltana and Corbyn are going to take that vote. Unity, splitting votes, that party is going to do serious damage, guys. You think Labour are bad? Can you imagine Zoltana and Corbyn, a communist and an Islamist?
Yeah, and our local Paul MP's joining them. Hard to believe our local MP, Paul, is joining the party. He's been deselected from Labour. Paul, our local MP here, is joining that party.
Off our streets! Communist scum! Off our streets! Communist scum! Off our streets! Right. As ever,
men who've crossed the channel on small boats. Is that a core part of the demonstration that you were part of today? And can you explain what some of those safeguarding concerns might be?
Yeah, I mean, people in the town are rightfully frustrated that there has been a rise in crime since 2023, which just happens to coincide with when the arrivals and the HMOs and the hotels opened up in town. And when you look at the demographics of the crime rates here against perpetrators, and you can draw a pretty clear conclusion about how that's happening. But even if you sort of avoid that, walking through town, it is a very different place now. The whole atmosphere, the people wandering around that clearly aren't local, the way that they treat local people, they're walking after women, they're shouting out, they're whistling, they're carrying weapons. This is all stuff you can see on Facebook, in the local newspapers. It is quite literally the Wild West here, and the place is out of control. That's what people are upset about. And what that means then is we've got a lack of tourism. Our industry is suffering. It's a £1 billion industry, the tourism industry, to Bournemouth every year, and that is going down. Department stores are leaving, people aren't visiting, the hotels are full of tax-paid visitors rather than people that want to come here and spend money. So that's the frustration. We just want a nice, friendly, family-centric town that we can all enjoy. We haven't got
And varied career where you saw plenty of difficult and dangerous circumstances. It must be quite strange for you, having deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, now suddenly seeing many people potentially from those countries back in your hometown, creating that sense of uncertainty where you live.
3 enormous hotels, which, as you say, are about 200 metres away from the beach, which is one of Britain's favourite beaches. And we spoke to holidaymakers who are there. It's a huge draw for families in the summertime. About 1 million people go to stay overnight in Bournemouth every year.
1 million people a year?
1 million people
Wow.
a year, according to the tourist office there, yeah. So people are angry because people spend thousands of pounds going to Bournemouth. I mean, some of the hotels there can be £200 a night during the peak tourist season. And in the middle of all that, you have 3 enormous hotels which are currently being used under Home Office contracts and are housing asylum seekers. So people are angry.
Of course, and actually those contracts for those hotel owners, I just wonder about the hotel owners themselves, how much responsibility they have for this, because if the government comes to you and says we're going to have people there 365 days a year for a number of years, here's a nice contract for you, can you blame them? I
mean, it's they have a choice, don't they? They have a, that, as you say, could seem very appealing to a hotel owner. Maybe during the quieter months, they might not have many rooms filled. But what seems extraordinary is there are people who want to go and stay in Bournemouth. It's a busy place, as you know. If you try and go to the beach in the UK at this time of year, it's heaving. And so the idea that these hotels are being taken over at this time of year in those seaside towns, I think, is what people are finding quite extraordinary.
So what have people been saying to you? You spoke to Susan Beecham, who said, I don't think they should be in hotels like that. If they come here illegally, that they're there on the seaside, it makes me cross. Just give me a sense of what people were saying to you yesterday.
I think the main sense that we got yesterday was people are angry at how unfair it seems to them. I mean, they've spent, as I say, potentially thousands of pounds going on holiday.
It's your biggest. I remember talking to, I think it was Martin Lewis or someone about this, saying that aside from your mortgage, your holiday is probably the biggest single purchase for most people. Unless you buy a new car or whatever, it's probably the single biggest purchase people make in a year. So you want it to be perfect, don't you?
Absolutely. And so the idea that there are people who are staying in a similar hotel to one that you're staying in and forking out for, there are people there who are staying there and not paying for it. People are quite angry about that.
Yeah. Tell me about the plans for coverage over the weekend, because we know an awful lot of different protests are being planned. There's a pro-Palestine action plan. There's a plan for an awful lot of people to protest about these migrant hotels. What will you be doing to kind of cover that? Obviously, we hope it's all peaceful, but it might not be.
Exactly. So as you say, there's dozens and dozens of protests going on around the country this weekend. There's some starting tonight, 5 p.m, kind of outside asylum hotels across the country. So we're monitoring those. As you say, they've been going on for a few weeks now. Most
seaside towns, but increasingly Bournemouth has been hit with asylum hotels, including the one behind me, the Chine Hotel, which was, until about 18 months ago, a 3-star resort overlooking the sea. Yet now this 79-room residence houses more than 100 asylum seekers. It's the same story with 2 other hotels in the town centre, the Britannia Hotel and the Roundhouse Hotel, both also housing hundreds of asylum seekers. The move has frustrated residents and tourists coming into the town and propping up its £1.3 billion tourism economy. Around 210 of these migrant hotels are being used around the country, and even in the short time we've been here today, we've seen a repeat of some of the other findings we've made across the country, including one migrant inside the car park, which is coned off behind me, riding off on an e-bike with a Just Eat bag on the back, thought to be illegally working from this taxpayer-funded accommodation. Another knock-on effect of hotels like this on the south coast is that many tourists are paying more than £1,000 a week to come on holiday here, and some of those today have told me that they feel the cost of their trips away have been driven up by hotels like this, potentially reducing some of the supply from other hotels in the area. The Sun's analysis of court records from these 3 hotels in Bournemouth alone show that at least 37 asylum seeker residents have been charged with serious offences in only the last 6 months. They include one case where a migrant was charged with rape and sexual assault, and that case is still going through the courts. Other hearings include a man who on Wednesday was charged and pleaded guilty to threatening another resident at his asylum hotel with a snooker cue.